Hey guys, welcome back to the Terradome. So today I'm going to cover a subject which I've been sat on for a number of years, and it's a subject which only probably about 4 people out there really care about, but I wanted to make a video quickly today just to have some fun. And today we're going to be talking about the holograms, the presence of holograms in the Jurassic World movies. Because I used to get into some, very fun debates with Jurassic collectibles, if you're watching this, hello, back in the day, talking about, the realism of the holograms within the Jurassic universe. And I have a tweet which I found actually, because I just, searched on Twitter, Jurassic holograms, and I managed to find the perfect one from Jurassic Collectibles, which sums up his position on this. It's from 2017, so please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, JC, if you've changed your mind on this since. I doubt you have. But yeah, we used to talk about this quite often. And I know this was actually a reply in a conversation with someone else. But I think this perfectly summed up your position. And so I'm going to use that as a jumping off point for something I've discovered that I wanted to talk about today. So he says here, the holograms are one of my gripes, because Jurassic Collectibles, doesn't really like Jurassic World. It's a setup for the Dilophosaurus, but I did feel like it was too magical for JP. So he talks about how the holograms are too magical. As you can see in the image here, the idea of seeing these 3D images that move around. They're projected from some light source somewhere, and people can walk through them, and that's technology which we just don't have today. That's true. There is a sort of magical quality to it that I'm not disputing, and especially, and I'm gonna be charitable here. I do sympathise with the position on not liking holograms in Jurassic, because they don't make it as tangible when you don't see like the specific light source. I'll need to go back and watch the scene to see if there is a light source, but I believe, as you can see here, I think the light source is coming down from the ceiling, and it's not like the camera ever really truly pans up to show it. But I do sympathise that they might needed to do some kind of like physical object that you can see that is projecting or doing something with the hologram to make it a little bit more grounded. That I will agree with. However, I don't know if I agree with the position that I've seen people talk about. I don't know if Jurassic Collectibles has actually talked about this, but like that the holograms sort of come out of nowhere, that they're too futuristic for the world of Jurassic, that they come out of left field. And that's why I wanted to make this video today, because I was watching Jurassic Park, and specifically the Mr. DNA sequence, which I'm going to have to pause here, and I noticed something. If I skip through this, so I feel like this sequence here, as we can see, this man is looking at a, I might mute the media source just for this section. So we can see here, yeah, there's a 3D render of a DNA strand. I'm assuming that's meant to be like a dinosaur DNA strand. And the camera pans up, and he's doing something with his hands, like he's handling it. And then if you look at his eyesight here, he is looking through a glass panel. And he's wearing this huge clunky headset. And obviously we can't see what he sees, but Mr. DNA in the video talks about how it's a virtual reality display. So one can assume that he's looking at a 3D image that is being projected on plain glass in this visor that he is manipulating with his hands, or he's doing something, because he's not looking at the screen down below at the thing that's right in front of him. He's looking at this virtual version of it. This leads me to, and I don't know if I don't have any evidence for this, but this leads me to speculate that they may have wanted, maybe Spielberg wanted to have on that glass display some 3D render that you could see, on his visor, but they maybe didn't have time to do that, or they didn't have the technology to make it look as good as they wanted to, so they just have this glass visor in front of his face. But this, for me, this is kind of like the seed for the holograms that come later on, because this technology, as far as I'm aware, is insanely innovative for when it's set, in 1993, right? So Hammond's InGen has amazing technology for 1993, where nowhere else in the world would you have this technology. It's like only this billionaire John Hammond, or millionaire, or whatever he is, has the the funds to research this kind of technology. And this is back in the early 90s, late 80s. The technology was probably being invented. And obviously we had virtual reality stuff back in like the 80s and 90s with things like the Virtual Boy on a consumer product, but that was not virtual reality like this, where you're looking at a plain glass screen and there's an image on the screen that you can see through, and he's manipulating it with these hand sensors. We're only just really getting that on a sort of consumer basis with what the Apple Vision Pro or whatever they're releasing next year for the stupid ridiculous price or whatever, where they're saying like you're technically looking at a screen, you're not even looking through glass. But I've seen videos where they can project images onto glass. That is doable. But a curved visor on a headset like this in the early 90s, very early 90s, this is crazy technology. But my point is that if this technology of manipulating images in this sort of virtual space is at this point in the early 90s, cut to 2015 in that universe, the same universe where they can clone dinosaurs from DNA, and they have touchscreen computers just working really fancily, which were around at the time. Even Die Hard mentions it. The Jurassic Park prequel movie.
Cute toy.
They have touchscreen computers, but for the ordinary person, touchscreens weren't really prevalent until maybe the early 2000s, when with the invention of like the smartphones and stuff becoming more popular and then cheaper, and then everyone could start using them. But for me, the idea of a 3D rendered image that is projected into I don't know, augmented reality, into a physical space. This one way of my argument. Okay, I'll sum this up. My argument is that that's believable for me in Jurassic World because of two main points. One, it's only really limited to InGen. You never see holograms when we get to Jurassic World Dominion. You go out into the wider world, even in Fallen Kingdom. You don't. It's not like Blade Runner. They're not going down the streets and there's holograms everywhere, all over the place. But it is limited to the Innovation Center of Jurassic World, because they're trying to show how innovative they are at the Samsung Innovation Center. And so for number one, it's like I like how limited that technology is. It makes it more grounded and believable that this crazy technology exists only in this one sort of place. And obviously when you get to Fallen Kingdom, a lot of the InGen tech has been taken to the underground labs under Lockwood, and we can see that Mills is utilizing this tabletop version of the holographic system, which if correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, Jurassic Collectibles, I believe you have said in the past that you find more grounded because it's like a tabletop version, but please correct me if I'm wrong there. But that's where it's like it's limited to, and then we don't see holograms anymore. Like it's like they have their big presence at the Innovation Center, and then the tech is InGen specific, and then that's why we see it in the Lockwood Manor. But then it's not like you don't go down the road in Dominion and see there's they don't go to Malta and there's holograms everywhere. Even at the Biosyn Sanctuary they don't have holograms. But I feel like that's one factor, and the second is this technology here that we see in Jurassic Park is like the seed for 3D rendered virtual images being projected, because they're being projected on glass here. So one could imagine that they innovate the technology to eventually remove the glass from the helmet and are able to project it in a real space. Now I know there are some technologies out there in the real world that kind of do that with like lasers pointing at a certain thing, but it's nowhere near, again I agree, it's nowhere near what we see in Jurassic World. That is crazy good projection, especially in the daytime. But I feel like this fictional world that the Jurassic universe plays out in, I feel like it's not like the holograms just come out of nowhere. I feel like this is overlooked. This brief moment in Jurassic Park is overlooked as the seed for that type of technology. So Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I guess I've covered it as much as I can, but just to summarize, you know, I can sympathize with people who think the holograms in Jurassic World may be a bit too out there, you know, a bit of a shock, you know, seeing this, you know, dinosaur that's made of light walking around the innovation center, because that technology just does not exist in the real world. Completely sympathize with that. However, for me, seeing this visor in Jurassic Park, you know, with the glass, because he's looking at a 3D image that to him, because he's looking through glass, looks like it's in the room with him, and to me that's like the stepping stone, the seed, the stepping stone to get to the holograms we see in Jurassic World. And obviously, as I mentioned, it's limited to InGen, because we only see InGen using that technology and we don't see it anywhere else. So anyway, leave a comment down below on your thoughts on this subject, and yeah, look forward to more videos coming soon. Just a quick update on my channel. Obviously I did loads of videos in Jurassic June, and I'm realizing that I really need to knuckle down and get Dino Defenders finished. So I'm even though videos might not be coming out as frequent as they used to, I am doing my live streams every now and then when I can, and I will be trying to do videos when I can, when I have the time. But please stick with me if you can, and yeah, Dino Defenders is going to kick ass. We're a long way still from finishing, but I after watching 30 dumb dinosaur movies, I was like, I really want to work on my dinosaur thing, because I want to make something that I think's good, at least in terms of storytelling, and put it out there. So it gave me great motivation to focus on that. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next time.